One of the things I find when I'm looking at like coverage of space travel and of say SpaceX, of Jeff Bezos, or even when I'm talking to people, they're kind of misunderstanding what the goal is. Especially in the mainstream press, they're just like, oh, they've spent billions to send this little satellite to, or this like drone to Mars, and the reaction is kind of just like, why bother? Yeah. So why do you think that's the attitude? Because I don't know. I don't get the feeling that like the newspapers in the 1400s, or I don't even know what the dissemination of news was. They had like pamphlets or whatever. I don't think people would be like, oh, well, why is Columbus going off to this new world? That seems a bit crazy. Or maybe they were.
Yeah, I think...
like, why do you think that the exploration is not sort of emphasized?
I think a lot of people look at space flight and they think about problems here on Earth as more of a priority, which I've got to agree. We've only got one Earth, one biosphere. There is no planet B is a common phrase. There was an attempt in the late 80s, early 90s to replicate Earth's environment in a sealed structure known as Biosphere 2. It failed. It's difficult to sustain life, but most people care more about, they'll say, why should we spend, as he said, billions sending a rover to Mars when that same money could be spent fixing problems here on Earth? And generally there's this misconception that if you're doing things in space, it's not going to benefit life here on Earth. Look for example, Iridium satellites monitoring sea levels and wildfires and deforestation and other important things really here on Earth. If we look at all the science that's done aboard the International Space Station as another example, people say it's a waste of money to send rockets up, and generally there's this stigmatization. The International Space Station has given us things like fiber optic technology.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Currently on orbit they are trying to 3D print organs. You can't do that in Earth's gravity, because if you're trying to 3D print something that's made of jelly, it gets quite difficult and it'll collapse on itself. You can do that in a microgravity environment. Think about the potential applications to save lives. How many people each year die waiting for transplants where they might have a rare blood type and things like that. Now, once again, science can solve that problem.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening.